It's in our nature to protect the ones we love, to stand up to any danger, to be strong and courageous, to always be prepared, to keep our family safe, to be the first line of defense. We are born to protect.
All right, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot and thank you for joining us. Today we have the Beretta M9A3 on the table, ready to go, and I'm going to tell you everything I know about it, our opinions and everything. Mrs. Headshot is going to jump in here in just a minute, tell you what she thought about it, pros and cons, all that good stuff. You know how we roll by now. Big thanks to our shot team over on Patreon. I asked them if they wanted to see this gun. A bunch of thumbs up and a bunch of requests to see it, so we went ahead and got one. This is my second go around with Beretta. The first one did not go well, but that video is still up for your viewing pleasure or displeasure, however you see it. The APX, the Beretta APX, did a video on it. A lot of people were upset at me with the way I broke the gun down. I was upset because it was such a pain in the butt, but if you look at the manual to that gun, that's the way Beretta would like you to break that gun down. I know there's easier ways, just pull the trigger, all that good stuff, but anyways, this is my second go around with them, and I definitely want to give this gun a fair shake because regardless of how I feel about the APX, this gun is totally different. So let's go ahead and get into that. The video you've seen before, this video is from the USCCA. If you're a law-abiding gun owner in the United States and they service your state, make sure you go over and check them out. I'll leave a link down below so you can do that and protect yourself legally and financially. So let's go ahead and get started. An awesome case, probably the best gun case we've ever seen. Miss Headshot fell in love with this thing instantly. So open it up. You're going to get a couple things. You're going to get a sticker, of course, carried by the U.S. Armed Forces, little thing there. You're going to get 3 17-round mags, assuming what state you live in. If you live in a state that allows that, of course, 17-round mags. Pretty good there that you get actually 3 of them. The gun's going to come out just like that, and then you're going to get other paperwork, and you know the drill by now when it comes to this stuff. Let's get this awesome ammo can case out of the way and talk about the star of the show here, the Beretta M9A3. This gun has always intrigued me, and it's kind of an interesting story, the way that the U.S. Army and Beretta went back and forth. I mean, the original M9 version was adopted by the U.S. military in 1985, and then you fast forward 30 years later, they submit a new trial. They want to have a new handgun with some different things that the Army is looking at, and from our understanding and our reading, it was almost like Beretta felt like they were left out of the loop as far as like issues that were happening with the original Beretta M9. Just guys having issues and all this kind of stuff. And Beretta kind of made it seem, as far as my understanding, like they didn't know these issues were happening. And so when the trials came up, it looks like SIG and Glock were actually the 2 finalists. And then, of course, SIG Sauer got the contract eventually, but it almost seems like maybe there was some miscommunication. Again, I don't know for certain. I'm just telling you off of what we read. It was actually a pretty interesting story, so I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out. Maybe you can dissect it a little better than I did, or if you have information on the original Beretta, maybe you were in the armed forces, we'd love to hear from you, so just leave a comment down below. It's funny because when I picked the gun up, the guy I picked it up from served in the military, and he was like, I would never own one of these guns just because of my time with it in the military. But the Beretta M9A3 is a different gun altogether, okay? But I'm going to give you my opinion because that's why you're here watching my video. All right, let's talk about the specs and then the features of this beautiful gun, by the way. That's one thing that I noticed instantly. The 3-tone FDE version, from the frame to the grips and the slide, the barrel and all that, it goes really good together. Almost like the Scars and how they have that different FDE tones. It just looks really good. So anyways, 5-inch barrel, 5 inches in overall height, 8.7 inches overall length, 1.5 inches wide, and an unloaded weight of 33.4 ounces. Of course, it's a steel frame and all of that good stuff. So it is a heavier gun. So what kind of changes did they make? You have a threaded barrel now on this version. Notice how the barrel is actually exposed. So basically the way this works, it has a locking block feature, very similar to this gun. This is a genuine AC-43 Walther P38. All right, World War II certified. I mean, this gun is the real deal, and it uses the same locking block feature. So the barrel never moves. All right, slide just comes back, and basically you have a locking block under here that's very similar to that. I'll actually show you that here in a little bit, but 1913 style Picatinny rail, takedown lever right there, double to single action firearm. I got the G model here, so basically we are clear, by the way. So basically what happens is you have the safety and decocker version, and you have the decocker only. They can be swapped over if you want to do that. If you have maybe just a safety and decocker, you can do just the decocker. That's the version I went with. I think it's, for my purposes, I think it's the best version. They actually changed the location of this. Okay, so now it's a little bit over center. Oversized magazine release right there that is reversible. And one thing I love about these mags with this coating, they're sand resistant and they just fly right out of there. I absolutely love magazines that are that responsive. Even if we have it where the slide's like that, they just pop right out of there. Love that. Tritium front and rear sights. And I honestly love this sight picture. It's really small window, but it just lines up very well. I'm really into that. We'll talk about the trigger after the shooting part of the review, but again, it's double to single action there. Loaded chamber indicator. You also have this little indicator right here. So it's right to the point where you get that hammer all the way back. You can see that that little bar just kind of raises up there as that hammer is about to fall. G10 style grips here, and it actually does come with the bigger grips like on the original Beretta M9s. This is what they're calling their Veritech thin style grips. That was one of the things the military wanted. They wanted something that would be suitable to more people's hands. Like my hands, I have smaller hands, so if I were to be shooting this gun on a regular basis, the grips that come from the factory are a little bit too wide, so they went with that Veritech style grip. Checkering on the front and rear strap of the gun right there. Beveled magazine release for easier mag swaps. Lanyard loop right there. Coming around to this side, of course, it is fully ambidextrous. So you have your safety decocker on this side without the cutout. And then right here as well. And then your slide serrations up on top. None in the front there. These slide serrations, they do a great job. But one thing about it is they're kind of... I'm not going to say they're not useful, but with these with these decockers right here, really that's the main thing I grab onto to get that slide back to the rear there. So really slick looking firearm. I mean, just looks amazing. You have some import marks here. This one is made in Italy, by the way, and just a really slick looking gun, man. I really love the looks of this thing. Takedown is super easy. I love the way they did this. So basically, you obviously you want to make sure you're clear. You have your takedown lever here, and you have a button, big oversized button right there. So you just push it in, rotate this down, the slide's going to pop forward, and you pull it off the rails. How easy is that? Just perfect the way they did that. Polymer guide rod. It is not captive, by the way. And then here is your locking block feature. So this is pretty dang cool. So the barrel never moves, right? So when this is engaged, all right, so when this is engaged, it's not going to move. And then as the slide starts to go to the rear, this is actually going to push in. The slide is actually the only thing that's going to move back while this stays locked in position. It may move just a little bit, but it ain't going to move much. And you can kind of see how that works. Now, what's interesting, if we look at this 80-year-old P38, take the mag out. So a little bit different in the way they look. Obviously, this one's 80 years old, and this one is fairly new, but Beretta's been using this since the mid-80s as well. So you can just see how that locking block kind of engages and disengages, and when it's disengaged, now that slide can move rearward to eject the round out and get the new one in. So a very interesting design. And when we come back from the shooting, you're going to see the benefits of this. It's pretty dang amazing. But I wanted to show you that. I mean, how cool is that they took from an 80-year-old design? And this, honestly, is in the top 3. This Walther P38 is in the top, I definitely say 3 of my best shooting firearms, handgun-wise, that I own. I mean, it really is just that sweet. I love this gun. Absolutely love it. And it's a piece of history too. So I'm all about it, man. Just an awesome gun. This one actually has a decocker as well and a safety. So there you go. That's where they took inspiration from. I assume they took it straight from that design. So pretty cool. Putting it back together. Goes on there, something like that. If it gets caught up, you just want to make sure that locking block is not engaged. Otherwise, it's not going to go back on there. And obviously, we need a recoil spring in there so it will function properly. Just like that. Again, polymer guide rod. Rotate this back up. Drops just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the range afterwards. I'll get Miss Techshot in here, get her opinion of the Beretta M9A3. We will see y'all in a minute. That old ammo. That was old ammo, by the way. It's been sitting out here on the table. I wanted to see how it functioned with it.
Ooh, I missed one. I like that.
Very nice. All right, so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. One thing I didn't mention, working the slide stop on this gun and the slide in general, because you only have the back end of the slide that moves. It doesn't feel too heavy at all. Even getting that hammer back, it feels pretty good actually. All right, so working the gun and all of its functions. If I want to drop the slide, it's super easy to use. Of course, the slide stop is only on the left-hand side of the gun. That's something that left-handed shooters would kind of have to get used to if they wanted to use this gun and drop the slide like that. I know some people hate the thought of that, but if you need to do it, it's there for you to use. And using the controls and using this gun in general is just super easy to use. One thing that I love about the gun is the fact that the decocker, you don't have to, even with my smaller hands, I don't have to pull this thing all the way down to get that hammer to safely drop. All right, I get it down to a certain point, it drops, I'm good, okay? So it does look like it's pulling it all the way back, but it's not super hard to do this. I get it to this point here. There's still a little bit more you could go, I guess, but it's already dropped safely at that point. and it also has a half cock notch there as well. So this gun is super safe to use as long as you're, obviously using your head, but it's also easy to use with that Vertec style grip. It just makes someone with smaller hands like myself able to use this gun much easier than the bigger grips. So let's go ahead and pull the trigger on this thing. Definitely interested to see where that double action is. Let's try it out here. 10 pounds, 10 ounces. So 9 pounds, 4 ounces. Let's try to pull it again. See what happens. 8 pounds, 11 ounces. So somewhere right in that range. Let's try the single action, because this is where the money is right here. 4 pounds, 14 ounces. And it feels so crisp. 5 pounds, 1 ounce. So somewhere right in the sub 5 pound range probably. I don't know what Beretta calls it, but man, it feels so good, especially in single action. The double action isn't bad though. So you'll notice you kind of can get it all the way back to this point, stage it a little bit, then pull it through. It's going to reset pretty much all the way out. If we do it in single action, resets right about there. It's got a really nice pull on it. Good reset. Right before the reset, there's a little bit of a hesitation or something, but it's not bad at all. See, kind of like right there. But it's not bad at all. That little bit of a reset, I tend to shoot off the reset. I've tried to get out of that, but it still happens to me every once in a while. But it's got a good trigger on it for sure. And again, using the controls, not a problem at all. All right, so the Beretta M9A3, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pros being first, because there's more of them. This, I think, is one of my top 3 or 4 favorite shooting handguns now. I mean, it is so much fun to shoot at the range. The trigger, even in double action, is really not bad, but single action is amazing on this gun. It's got a really good fit in the hand. This Vertec grip, it's obviously different just looking at the grip module that comes with it, and it fits perfectly. I think the checkering and everything on the front and back strap feels good in the hand. I love working the decocker because it's so easy to use. The gun in general, I think, is easy to use. What did you really notice about it that stood out to you while shooting it?
The trigger was the biggest thing that stuck out.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, I even told you while we were shooting the Legion.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's got a kind of that Legion feel to it and crispness to it. And you were also talking about the size. What did you like about the size of this thing?
For me, the larger the gun, the easier it is to shoot. Of course, y'all know that. The recoil and everything is just a lot easier. The grip is really nice, too. Of course, it's not aggressive at all. The recoil was amazing. I hardly had any issue with that. And then the biggest thing for me was the trigger. I didn't enjoy shooting it in double action. I just think it's harder for...
You never do.
Yeah, I never do.
You never do. You almost refuse to do it in double action, but that's okay. Yeah, working the gun. Did you have any issues as far as? I mean, it is a bigger gun. You have smaller hands, even smaller than I do. Did you have any issues working the gun at all? Reaching the trigger, nothing like that, right?
Nope, it was really good.
Good. Yeah, as far as cons, so if I'm looking at this as the U.S. Army and looking at the M17 or the Beretta M9A3, I would have to think to myself, though, because striker-fired guns are more consistent. You don't have that. And just like what you were just talking about, if you're a woman in the United States Army, which one would you rather have? Would you rather have that consistent striker-fire trigger pull each and every time, or have that double-action first shot, single-action second shot?
I don't like double action.
Exactly.
I'd rather have the consistency.
Exactly. So I think that's a huge part of why they went with the M17. I mean, I'm sure money and all this other stuff probably had something to do with it, but it came down to the M17 and the Glock, both of which have striker-fired actions on them, more consistency, and I think that probably played a pretty big role. But with that being said, this is one of the best shooting guns I've ever put in my hand. It really is that good. And cons, I just think it's just a little bit more dated design. Even though it's been updated, it's still a little bit dated with that double to single action, and I'm pretty sure that's probably why they lost out. But still, even with all that being said, Hammer-fired guns are amazing, and this one is no exception. It's absolutely...
It was really fun.
Pretty incredible. I wasn't expecting this out of this gun. I wasn't expecting it to like blow me away the way it did. But pretty amazing, and I love the sight picture on this gun. It's smaller, it leaves less room for error, and I think when it comes to just at the range shooting, I take this almost pretty much over anything I have. Pretty amazing. I love the way the mags just pop in and out too. They're sand resistant, so we didn't have to worry about that really. So I just dropped the mags out of the gun, and I love the way this gun, I just love operating the gun. It's amazing. Love the way it comes, and it's a very awesome design, and I'm glad to have one in the collection. Anything you wanted to add to this?
Nope, I think you did it all just fine there, big guy.
All right, cool. Beretta M9A3, I want to hear what your thoughts are down in the description box below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one, and as always, hold 'em down.